was a nightmare.
Oh.
I want to actually help people, and this environment is not allowing me to do that. Language is not math.
Hi everyone, Mayuです. Welcome back to my channel. Today I'm here with タントリスさん.
Tantris. In English, people call me Tristan. I think that's the first time I've ever said that on YouTube. But yeah, my actual name is Tristan. And I've been doing YouTube for like 6 months, talking about like the sociological differences between Japan and the United States from my own perspective. And for some reason overnight it exploded. And I still am like confused about it, but it's been
cool.
It's been an honor. Yeah. So thanks for having me today.
Oh, of course. And how long have you been in Japan?
I think it's been about three and a half years.
3.5.
Yeah.
Okay.
Got here in July of 2022.
Okay.
Right when the borders opened, actually. Yeah.
And you're from the US?
Yes. I'm from Milwaukee, Wisconsin. Today, what topic are we discussing then?
So you said that you worked for school, elementary school.
That's right.
As an ALT.
Yes,
right?
As an ALT for my first year.
When you came here,
Yes. 2022.
Okay.
And that was a nightmare.
Oh, interesting. And I want to hear all about your experiences.
Yes.
And I guess what you didn't like about it, maybe what you liked about it, maybe. Because I really don't know anything about elementary school education, English education.
Hello.
In my experience, it started in my fourth year. It was fun stuff. It was sunny.
Okay.
I don't think there are any American teachers.
Not, maybe
for me.
Yeah. Your experience. Well, when I came, it was 2022, and they had just implemented the New Horizons textbook into the system. And so basically, it was my job to read a page and formulaically give the lesson exactly as it was written. And first, I was like, this is a little strange because you look at the script, and they would use words that Americans wouldn't really say. I guess you'd understand.
Yeah.
It just kind of sounds stilted, a little, what's the word for it? In a Japanese textbook for Americans, they always teach you genki desu ka? But no one really says that, I've noticed. And in the same way, in the textbook, they'll teach a word like enjoy, you can enjoy this food, or you can enjoy spaghetti. And I guess that's all right, but the way that they use enjoy, at least from my experience, is for basically any experience. I enjoy something. It sounds a little formal and not very common in everyday speech. People say just use a different word, you can eat this food or you can have this food. But when you use enjoy, the only time it really is used is enjoy oneself. I'm enjoying myself right now. I'm having fun right now. But if you're having, eating a hamburger, I'm really enjoying this hamburger. I don't know. It just for some reason, it didn't sound really natural to me. I don't know exactly how to describe it, just as a native. It's correct English.
Yeah, but you wouldn't say it in real life.
Yeah, you would say this is really delicious, or I think that this is really well made or something. But it just kind of felt like they were trying to use enjoy for everything in the textbook. And I get what they're trying to do, but it was like a script. Do you ever feel like it was taught like a script? When you were
Yeah, definitely. I learned how are you? I am fine.
Yeah.
And you kind of
right.
That kind of conversation. So and then I realized that no one says that in the States. So yeah, I understand how you would feel about that. And then was it for children, for children they use enjoy in the United States, or is it made for kids?
It's made for kids. You can enjoy the circus, you can enjoy this food. But I feel the main issue that I'm getting at is you're teaching one word and then trying to force it into any kind of context. Whereas I think a better way to maybe teach is, one of my friends is Swedish, and she told me that from a very young age it's just English conversation, and they start talking, and instead of learning how to say this or how to say that, it's all from context.
It's immersive.
Right. There was no way to teach like that, but eventually I just had to put my head down and capitulate and be all right, there's no fixing this. I have to just teach at this school. But yeah. I don't know. You would change about the education system before I get into that?
Yeah, I think I agree with you in that, the schools should focus more on listening and speaking.
Yeah.
because I could read and write before like going to the US, but my listening and speaking skills weren't as good. Yeah, I think also the cultural aspect of English speaking countries, I wanted to learn that from the conversations, like the dialogues. I think if, you know, like the friendliness and like how the conversations go, what kind of topics do people usually talk about, these stuff, like I wanted to learn that in the dialogues or like in some other ways.
Well, something about your English that like I was taken aback by the first time I talked to you is like it's very natural and it's very smooth, and I'm very strict about English. Like that was another frustration I think I had in the school, is because like of course it's difficult to, you know, teach 30 kids who probably don't even want to be there anyway. But then I've also had like a little bit of eikaiwa experience on the side, and I kind of learned a lot about like how much waseigo is used. And one of the things I think that is taught in the textbook is the use of the word about. And this always kind of bothers my ear, but like when I speak to Japanese people who are very fluent in English, of course, but sometimes they'll say like, oh yeah, I'm studying about this, or I'm researching about that, or, you know, I want to explain about, and I'm like, why are you saying about? You can just explain it, you can study it, you can research it. And I'm like, where did they learn that? Did that come from like the New Horizons textbooks, or is that like from Japanese? But like there's a lot of that crystallized like incorrect English that's in the way that they speak, which, I mean, they're trying really hard to speak, so like I'm not upset, but I'm like, why does that happen? You know, like when you're speaking English, do you study about, do you say research about, do you add about in places like that?
I think I used to, like, I did, like, we need to discuss about this topic. It's a common mistake that a lot of people make. But I learned, like, English grammar in college. So I think I was able to fix that. But yes, I definitely thought, like, oh, about is very useful. Or, like, actually. Actually, people say actually a lot. I feel like Japanese people say actually a lot. And I feel like you guys, like American people, say also a lot, but we don't really say that. So like there are some things that native English speakers say, but Japanese people do not, and the other way around as well.
Definitely. Like there are some like just fundamental differences in the way that people speak that like is just kind of ingrained into them. And one of the most common mistakes that I hear is the use of almost and mostly. And then just the word, like, I guess with a noun, it's like most and almost all. I don't know if you ever struggled with that, but I always...
People say almost people.
Yes, almost Japanese people, like anime or something, you know? I'm like, most Japanese people.
Almost Japanese people is like, you're not Japanese, but you're almost Japanese.
Was there any, like, waseigo or, like, Japanese English that, like, still maybe bothers you a little bit, or that you pick up on?
Well, I think it's not the meanings, but the pronunciation and like accent. Because I would say like presentation, but then it's like presentation. Accessory, but it's accessory.
That's a good point. Like the way that I always hear...
It's plural.
Advice. It's advice, or like evento, where it's like events.
That. Everyone says like, oh, I'm going to this event.
This is one of the things that really frustrated me when I was in the school. So at the time, my Japanese was much worse than I speak it now. And I would try not to use any Japanese in class, but sometimes I would to help the kids. And so they're not really, you know, pronouncing it correctly, and it's not their fault, you know? I mean, I'm the teacher, it's my responsibility. But I remember I was talking about like AM and PM, and I was like, they were like, I don't understand. And I think like it just, at the spur of the moment, I said like gozen and gogo, and they were like, haha, sensei, gogo te yutta, because it's gogo, right? It's like, it's up, down. And so they were making fun of my intonation. It's like, you kids can't even say this right, and you're making fun of my Japanese. You know, so like that was really frustrating for me. And so like, I got even more like self-conscious of speaking Japanese in school.
I guess that's also why a lot of, I feel like ALTs, they don't want to speak Japanese. Because they're like teachers, they're supposed to be perfect. They are made fun of or something. I mean, it's I think with the ALTs though, I don't know, like
I would say over half of them probably don't speak much Japanese.
Right.
That's the other thing is I think maybe two things with ALTs. One is I think maybe it's too easy to become an ALT.
I was gonna say you don't need any like certification or like qualification.
No.
You just need to be a foreigner.
Pretty much. I mean, you just need to like you need to have a.
Do you have to be from English-speaking countries or?
You have to have I think 18 years or 12 years of education in the English language. So I mean,
see.
you know, I'm very much as American as it gets with my accent. So like that was fine for me. But the problem is, and I even used to talk about this with one of my coworkers, is a lot of people who come to Japan and teach English, they probably couldn't even tell you the difference between like a transitive verb and an intransitive verb. And it's like if you don't know the fundamentals of what you're teaching, then I don't really know. Like it's almost like you're just an entertainer then.
Yeah, because it's like imagine like I major in psychology and I go to America and I can be a Japanese teacher even though I don't know anything about Japanese grammar.
Right.
So I know so many foreigners who come here.
Yeah.
And just like that's like one of the easiest jobs to get. I feel like becoming a famima no tein is way more difficult than being an ALT.
Yeah.
To get the job.
Yeah, to get the job. I mean, the job itself is probably harder than being an ALT. And I don't want to like insult ALTs or anything. I'm not, because I think ALTs themselves are confused because there isn't like a framework that they can work within. They're like, well, I'm in Japan, I'm teaching English, I don't really know how to teach English. And they're like, just teach the textbook. It's like, okay, I guess I'll teach the textbook. And you kind of become just like piece in a puzzle, but you don't learn how to express your own teaching in a unique way. And I think for me, what was frustrating was like, I'm actually thinking my French is still better than my Japanese, like in terms of grammar. And because I studied French, it informed my English grammar. And I was like, oh, there's so many creative ways to teach these kids. I could so help them by like breaking down sentences and coming up with these little activities. But then my tanto is like, no, do it like the textbook. And I'm like, okay. And so after a year, I'm like, I can't do this anymore.
Oh, you quit after 1 year?
I quit after a year. Yes.
Were you the only teacher in the classroom, or were you always paired up with a Japanese teacher?
So for the first, like the 1年生, 2年生, 3年生, it was always me alone.
Oh.
And then I think, and then sometimes there would be a teacher for the younger grades, but then as the kids get older, they need some Japanese instruction. And again, it's just like, Nihongo kinshi, so you can't really you can't use Japanese. And so the ALT speaks in English to like the 4th graders and 5th graders, and then the Japanese teacher just kind of translates it. Oh. And that's another thing I never really enjoyed that.
Oh.
Right.
So you said no Japanese, right?
No Japanese.
Did they follow the rule? Was it chaotic?
So I mean, like for me, no Japanese. For me.
Oh,
only
the kids. What about the kids?
The kids could speak whatever they want.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And the teachers would say like, try to speak English, kids. And the kids, some of them would. Some of them would look like they wanted to go home.
Yeah. And also another thing I'm curious about is like, whenever people, like the students, they pronounce things correctly, the other kids make fun of it. I feel like in my experience. Yeah. So like, there was no kikokushijo in my school, but if there was any kikokushijo, I heard so many times that they try to speak broken English so that they don't make fun of her or him.
It really is the case of the nail that sticks out gets hammered down a little bit. Huh?
Yeah.
If you stick out too much with your words,
So what was your reaction, or what was like the classroom's reaction to whoever speaks very good English?
You know what? I never saw anything direct like that, but I would say that there probably were kids who spoke well, but like most of the time they were probably speaking worse than they could.
Oh.
And I didn't notice, or like I will say this for the record, is like as much as I disliked the teaching, the kids were never the problem. It's not the kids' fault. And this almost sounds hypocritical of me, but I disliked school when I was a kid.
Oh, okay.
And so like when I walked into the classroom, I'm like, how can I be the teacher that tries to empathize with the kids. And so I think like a lot of the times the kids would actually like be somewhat engaged, or maybe they would have fun. Maybe they were just comfortable enough with me for there not to be any bullying in the class. I don't know. I kind of like gave off this just no bullshit kind of vibe in the class.
Like no laughing.
Yeah, like well, one of the things that I would do is like when the kids would make fun of other kids. I can't think of an example on the top of my head, but a kid would like have a wisecrack or say something to someone else, and I would just repeat the kid. I would say exactly what the kid did, and the kid would be embarrassed, and everybody else would laugh. And like that's more of an American education like influence. I probably shouldn't have done that. But like I would usually like if it was just me, I would call out some behaviors subtly, and I think that kind of like kept the bullying down. I don't know. Did you? So in your case, right? Like when you're around other Japanese people, does your pronunciation get worse? Do you feel like you've kind of gotten over that?
For me, I don't remember like elementary school. I think I was just having fun. There was no bullying or making fun of other kids.
Yeah.
But in junior high school, my teacher would correct my pronunciation to like like for example, if I say apple, he would be like, no, it's apple. And I was like,
wait,
are
what?
you sure?
Whoa.
But I would just be like, okay, apple. But yeah, that was weird. I didn't really like that.
Yeah, I can't imagine that the other way around. I guess, like, in my humble opinion, and again, it's like, it's easy for me to say, like, oh, well, we should teach English better, as, how Americans barely speak English itself, in my opinion.
What?
Like there's like there's a meme on the internet where it's like, a German person's like, please forgive me for my lack of refined English. And then like the reply is like, LOL, it okay.
Okay.
And like, so keeping that in mind, I don't mean to be all like, like Japan should do this. It's more like, I just think that the rigidity of the education system is what keeps people from actually discovering what language is. And if they have a little bit more freedom to express themselves, and like teachers who are more qualified on the American end too, maybe you would see like more of a net positive, in the education system. But I don't know. I guess that's about as much as I can say. Language is not math. Language is not math, and I feel like maybe it's not unique to Japan. I think. But like treating language like learn this phrase, say it in this particular situation. You're remembering a script, but you're not developing an actual brain. Speak your target language. And I was just like, I want to actually help people, and this environment is not allowing me to do that. So I'm going to step back and do something else,
Right. I have seen people like you as well. Like, I think people who are more passionate about teaching English, teaching a language, they are more disappointed in the Japanese English education. Yeah. So thank you. I think, there were a lot of things that I didn't know. To me, it's amazing how English education has changed. From my experience, it wasn't like that at all. It was just like, it wasn't even like sentences that we learned in elementary school. So, and no like English speaking teachers for us. So that's great. But there are also problems that need to be addressed.
Yes.
So thank you for sharing your experiences, and I hope my audience also liked your experience.
Well, thank you.
Let me know what you thought in the comments. Thank you so much for watching, and bye!
Cheers!